Well, howdy, folks. Real quick, I'm not going to hold you long, I promise. 'Cause I'm not even in the mood to do this today. We have another issue, another incident here where there's a big issue with translations, modern translations versus the Textus Receptus, King James, New King James. I'm gonna use the New King James for one, New King James, and here I'm going to go to. I'm gonna go to a bunch of them. Getting all these scam calls. Put this on Do Not Disturb. You're starting to be a bunch of a-holes. Put this on Do Not Disturb. Getting on my nerves. I'll show you. I think the ESV is one that is going to. We're going to see what the ESV says. The ESV might do. I didn't check the ESV, especially the newest one. What year is this ESV? Let me see which one. Let me get my mouse. Alright, let me see here. No, here. What year is this? 2001. That ain't the new one. I thought we got a new ESV. Okay, they ain't on here yet. But anyway, I want to go to Hosea 11 and 12, I think. Yeah, Hosea. Hosea, I care about you. Okay, Hosea 11 and 12. Yes, let's do that over here. Hosea 11 and 12. I'm going to show you something. And this is in several modern translations now. I'm back to reading the CSB and the net, because both the net and the CSB really impressed me with some of these errors in your modern Bibles. But these are big errors. Hosea. Yeah, Hosea. Here you are. Alright. 11. Okay, now let's look at verse 12 over here. Now, if you look to the left of my screen. Oh. ESV it got it right. ESV, this one, I don't know about the new one, because this ain't the new one. There's one coming in for 2025. I don't have it yet. Right? 2001. We don't have it yet. So far, this got it right. Ephraim has surrounded me with lies, and the house of Israel with deceit, but Judah still walks with God and is faithful to the Holy One. Okay? The CSB and the net got it right. And as you see over here, the New King James agrees. Ephraim has encircled me with lies, and the house of Israel with deceit, but Judah still walks with God, even with the Holy One who is faithful. Okay? CSB says Judah wanders with God, even to the holy ones, like, in other words, to the holy people. But if we look at, let's go to the American Standard. American Standard, I was surprised. And I'm very upset with my Amplified, because my Amplified got this wrong. Let's go to the let's go to the Amplified. Or no, not the Amplified, NASB. NASB. Got this wrong. Here it is, 2020. Now, if you look down here, look to the left of my screen, verse 12 of Hosea chapter 11. Ephraim surrounds me with lies, and the house of Israel with deceit. But Judah is still unruly against God, even against the Holy One who is faithful. So these are two totally different conclusions here. Okay? And, the CSB and the net got it right. My MEV got it right. But the Amplified, coming from the Lockman Foundation, and the NASB coming from the Lockman Foundation. Who else might have this wrong? Let's go to a translation I already don't like. Let's go to New Living Translation. I know the NIV got it wrong. Let me go to NIV first. I'm pretty sure the NIV got it wrong. Then again, yeah, Judah is unruly against God, even against his faithful one. Okay? Today I was listening to a lot of Pastor Ingram, Scott Ingram. And he was going through the different translations. And after that thing that happened the other day, where I showed you that they got Bathsheba's purification wrong in 2 Samuel chapter 11. They got her purification wrong. To some of y'all, these might seem like little mistakes, but this is what I believe. Let me go somewhere else, and then I'll go to I'll get off of here and talk. Even though my camera's going to be putting things in another light, I'll go to my camera. Let me see here. Where else I want to go? Okay, NIV. What's another? Now, I already told you the NASB and the net got it right. Okay, if I go to the net here, scroll down. Ephraim has surrounded me with lies. The house of Israel has surrounded me with deceit. But Judah still roams about with God. He remains faithful to the Holy One. And I've been reading through the net today. I've been reading a bunch of stuff in the net. There's some places in the net where it kind of ticked me off, but not as much as some other translations that I look up to. Same thing with my CSB. Like the CSB and the net got 2 Samuel chapter 11 right, and they got this right. So, but my Amplified Bible, my favorite modern translation of all Bibles, got it wrong. And that just really bumps me out, man. Like, I was like really rooting for his Amplified Bible. But why'd I do that? Go back. But let's see who else got this. So the net got it right. The CSB got it right. Let's see if there's a difference between the 2020 and the 1995 NASB. Let's see if they do this stuff on purpose. Let's see. No, it says the same thing that the 2020 says. Okay. Where else I want to go? Let's go to NLT. Even though NLT is not really a standard translation. Let's go to this NLT. NLT, Israel surrounds me with lies and deceit, but Judah still obeys God and is faithful to the Holy One. So, whoa, that's awesome. Okay. You know what I'm thinking? And you know what else I want to see? I don't know why I keep going this. What else I want to see is I want to see if there's a difference between the... I want to see if they do this on purpose. Get this purposely wrong. Let's look at the ancient Amplified Bible. The 95. This is 2015. Let's look at the other one. The other one's in here too. The 1997 Amplified Bible. Come on, you're in here. There it is. AMC Classic. That's right. You got to call it Classic. Let's see if this one's different than the one I have. Let's throw it on here. Oh my. Oh, okay. Ephraim surrounds me with lies, and the house of Israel with deceit, and Judah is not yet steadfast with God, with the faithful Holy One. Okay. So, you know, to y'all, this might be, you know, to me, it's a big issue. It's a big issue to me. It really is. It's a big issue with me. It is. It is a big issue with me. That we are like this about our translations. You know, you do a translation and you fix stuff in it, and then you do another translation and it's not fixed. You know what I mean? Just bad. I also want to say this about the verses, since we, you know, I'm rethinking archaism versus better variants, or archaism versus better ways of putting things in the Bible. I'm rethinking all that, because if you don't know the story, for example, of David and Goliath, I mean, if you don't know it, if the scholars don't know the story of David and Goliath, why should they be on the board of scholars? I mean, if you don't know the book of Hosea, are there any Bibles out there that we can trust other than the modern translations? Are there? Are there any Bibles out there that we can trust other than the modern translations? Or should I say, is there any Bibles out there that we can trust other than the King James, New King James? It frustrates me a little bit that we play this collage with the Bible. Like, once you fix it, it should be fixed. You know what I'm saying? And if one translation fixes it, all the translations fix it. And if you got a wonderful translation and man, you're studying over here, but you forgot about you did a good job in the New Testament, but you did horribly in the Hebrew. Where was your head at when you were doing the Hebrew? Good Bible goes to waste when I can't open you up without having to look at another Bible to correct you all the time. Even my MEV, I'm upset with that. Like, if the King James is the base manuscript for the MEV, then the MEV should have done just like the New King James. You're going to put everything in there, and you're going to put it the way it is in there, and you're not going to worry about, okay, because you said that the King James is the base manuscript. You said that you're an update to the King James. Well, if you get Bathsheba's purification wrong in 2 Samuel chapter 11, and the King James goes all the way back to 1769, and they got it right, but you got it wrong. Her purification happened after David slept with her. What? There's no way. But this is the problem. Your modern versions I don't know. Scott Ingram said something very interesting too. He said that should we trust versions that, how'd he put it? Or just redoing the Bible based on older manuscripts. I've been saying this for a while too, like older manuscripts when we've already had the Bible. Those older manuscripts are giving you different variants. But before James White gets up there and keeps, there's one. Let's go back. Let's see what the LSB says. Oh, that's right. We don't have an LSB. Let me go to the internet. Let me go to the internet. Let me go to, I want to know what James White's LSB says about that verse. Let's see. I got to go to my Google. I was looking for jobs today, folks. Pray for me. No jobs are happening. All right, let's go to Bible Gateway. That's the newest version too of the LSB, I think. Alright. LSB, we want to go to second. No. We already know they screwed up. We already tested that in another video. They screwed up on that anyway. Hosea 11, 12. Let's see. What's it say? Let's see if the scholars of the LSB at least got this one right. No, it doesn't. Ephraim surrounds me with lies, and the house of Israel with deceit, and Judah is also, why is my mouse doing this? And Judah is also unruly against God, even against the Holy One who is faithful. So the LSB, these are the kind of things James White should be talking about. He doesn't talk about stuff like this. Okay? Show me why the King James would be wrong in saying that. What does the King James say? Let's look at it one more time here. You're going to refresh the whole daggone thing. I would have just clipped you out if I knew you was going to refresh like this. What's King James says? This is New King James. What's it say? Ephraim has encircled me with lies, and the house of Israel with deceit, but Judah still walks with God, even the Holy One who is faithful. And you learn that from reading the story. If you read the story, you'll see that this matches up. But this is what I believe. This is what I believe. I believe that our modern versions, I believe that our modern translations don't really give us the Bible. They give us. They just. I don't know. I think the average critical text reader, I think they just look at certain scriptures and say, okay, this is a better translation because of certain scriptures. But the Bible as a whole, they're not really concerned about it. And the fact remains that we've already had the Bible. And in 1881, they came and Scott Ingraham did a good job of going back to talk about Westcott and Hort. And James said, I don't want to hear nothing else about Westcott and Hort. But Scott Ingraham mentioned them. And he said, Westcott and Hort were very, very religious about the Bible. They weren't like us, average Christians, just wanting the truth. They were taking you somewhere else with their translation arguments and that. Text arguments. And I'm rethinking everything all over again. This bugs me. It's wrong. It's just wrong. What is so hard about knowing whether Judah is unruly towards God or Judah walks with God? Which one is the truth? And why is nobody making a big deal about this? Only people that make a big deal about it, again, the only people that make a big deal about it are KJV activists, KJV onlyists, and KJV people that say, hey, I love the KJV, I'm not knocking anybody else's translation, but I love the KJV. They're the only ones that understand this, and, is Judah unruly against God? Or is Judah walking with God? Which is it? Is Bathsheba's purification after David had slept with her? Or is it before? And when you read it, like if you read it in the Amplified Bible, they tried to fix it, but it was like too late. Like, I don't get that. Like, No, you write you know, it's not like a conversation where you have to go back and say, oh yeah, and by the way, her purification happened before. You know, that's what they try to do with the Bible after they've already written it. No, you cut that out, scratch that out, and put what belongs there. You're writing a Bible. You're not recording a conversation in a church. You're writing a Bible. If you make a boo-boo, pause and go back and fix it. Don't just put in there, come back and put in there, oh, and at that time, she was going through her menstrual, she was being cleansed from her menstrual impurity. No, the reason why David saw her on the roof bathing is because she was cleansing herself from her menstrual impurity. When he had his men go get her, she was cleansed from her menstrual impurity. Makes sense. But they're calling her impurity something that she did after her and David slept together. Well, what woman has a husband and goes to bed with a man and doesn't clean up before her husband gets home? Okay? But they're calling her purification, her cleaning up after David, instead of just calling it taking a bath. You know, now when you go to the book of Leviticus chapter 15, it does show in there that, and it doesn't talk about how a man might get his, semen on a woman or whatever. It just says if the man gets his semen on a woman, she'll be unclean until evening. Okay, well, David got her pregnant, so he didn't pull out or pull out fast enough when he was doing his thing with her. Okay, that's also in her purification, is also in chapter 15. I'll do it here, okay? I'll do it here. So let's go to, we're in the New King James, great. So let's go to, what is it? Is it Leviticus? It's Leviticus. But today's winners are the Net Bible. They got both of these right, and the CSB. So the problems that I have with the CSB and the problems I have with the Net are minor compared to this. This is huge. They're minor. So now I'm becoming more relaxed with the Net Bible again and a CSB. I can understand why people love the CSB. The CSB, and this is the thing, people don't want to admit this. James White is not going to admit it. Where the heck is Leviticus? James White is not going to admit it, but here it is. Okay, Leviticus chapter 15. So, and when he who has a discharge is cleansed of his discharge, then he shall count for himself 7 days for his cleansing, wash his clothes, and bathe his body in running water. Then he shall be clean. We might be going up further. Let me see. Oh, okay. It starts at verse 15, I'm pretty sure. I think it starts at verse 15 if I remember. Okay. Then the priest shall offer them the one of a sin offering, the other as a burnt offering. So the priest shall make atonement for him before the Lord. Let me go here to whoever touches anything that was under him shall be unclean. Is this water or blood? Alright. This is weird. Okay, when any man has a discharge from his body, his discharge is unclean. And this shall be his uncleanness in regard of his discharge. Whether his body runs with his discharge or his body is stopped by his discharge. It is his uncleanness. Every bed is unclean on him. Every bed is unclean on which he who has the discharge lies, and everything on which he sits shall be unclean. And whoever touches his bed shall wash his clothes and bathe in water and be unclean till evening. He who sits on anything, body of him, discharge, wash clothes. There's one of the semen. Let me scroll down here because there's one of the semen. Oh, here it is, verse 16. If any man has an emission of semen, this is where they go. In some of your modern translations, they go here. If any man has an emission of semen, then he shall wash all his body in water and be unclean until evening. Okay? And any garment or leather, okay? Then it says, if a woman has a discharge, and the discharge is from her body, and the discharge from her body is blood, she shall be set apart 7 days, and whoever touches her shall be unclean until evening. So, first of all, she didn't purify herself from her uncleanness while she was with David. That was before. Okay? This is crazy. Alright, everything that she lies on, touches, blah, 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 blah. She's got to be away for 7 days. Anything on her bed. And then this one here is if a woman has like, if a woman is bleeding, like has like a, what do they call that? A hemorrhage or something. Okay. But, if a woman is on her period, a woman is on her period. Okay. She shall be set apart 7 days, and whoever touches her shall be unclean until evening. Okay. So I need to show you, since I opened this back up, I need to show you why I'm making a big deal about this. One word changes everything, and only the King James and New King James got it right. Even MEV got it wrong. But the Net Bible and the CSB got it right. Okay, so let me see here. Why does this mix up? Just put the books in order that they come. Why are you doing this stuff? Like, we don't have to do this. Alright, here it is. Alright, 2 Samuel 11. So after David saw her naked, it says, then David sent messengers and took her, and she came to him, and he lay with her that word right there, she was cleansed, not getting clean, not being cleansed, she was cleansed from her impurity. That's not just getting up and taking a bath after you sleep with a man. Everybody does that. Verse 4, she was cleansed from her impurity, and she returned to her house. Okay, so David saw her on the roof, and I looked this up online. David saw her on the roof. What was she doing? Bathing, because she just had her 7 days. Her 7 days are up. She's off her period. Okay? She comes to David. David must have known, according to the way it's written in the King James and the King James, or the New King James and the King James, David must have known that she was bathing, probably because she was impure, from her impurity. I don't know what kind of pool that was she was bathing in, or what that was, or if David saw blood from a distance when he was looking at her, but obviously he knew that she just got off her period, and he sent for her, and they slept together. Okay? But if you look at it in my MEV and several other translations, most of them, my MEV says it the way most translations say it. Okay? So David sent someone to inquire about the woman, and it was asked, is this not Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, the wife of Uriah the Hittite? So David sent messengers and took her, and she came to him, and he lay with her, period. It stops right there, period. When she was purified, when she had purified herself from her uncleanness, she returned to her house. The woman conceived, so she sent a message and reported to David, I am pregnant. Okay? But that's wrong, because she purified herself before David's men came and got her. That's why in the New King James it says, when he slept with her, for she was purified from her uncleanness or her impurity. Okay? And then, the MEV says, well, she had purified. When she had purified herself from her uncleanness, she returned to her house. That just, that's wrong. And so what that tells me is somewhere in translating these Bibles, people don't know whether it's that or it's the other. When I'm thinking, read it. Read it. Read the law. Read, you know what I'm saying? And so, most of these Bibles, you can't preach from them. Like, I got even this MEV. I have to be careful. I can't preach from it because of that mistake. Because somebody that knows the story of David and Bathsheba, they're going to check me real fast. I read that story, if I read that story and I'm up on stage, I'm up on pulpit preaching, they're going to be like, hey brother, Bathsheba was purified. She was that's why she was on the roof bathing. She was bathing herself from her menstrual impurity. She didn't, David didn't get his jizz on her after they slept together, and the Bible recorded that, and, no, that's not what happened, brother. They're going to check me real fast. Okay? I can't read 2 Samuel chapter 21. I have to know what 2 Samuel chapter 11 is supposed to say and quote that when I read from certain Bibles, like even my MEV. And I have to know what 2 Samuel 21:19 is supposed to say. You know what they're supposed to say. And I just get up there and I say, and I jump down. I'll say it out of my mouth, and then I'll have to jump down to the next verse. I can't go to the Amplified Bible and read the Amplified Bible in church like I thought I was going to do, because if I say Judah was unruly against God, people are going to say, brother, I thought Judah walked with God. I didn't know Judah was unruly. Is Judah walking with God, or is Judah unruly against God? What's going on, brother? What's going on? What's going on? I think we should have left all the verses in the Bible, and we should have just worried about making the King James better Bible than what it was by matching all the manuscripts together and figuring out what was the best to go with what. But what do? We allow Westcott and Hort to change the history of, the making of the Bible. So, the King James and the New King James are still the in my opinion, the King James and the New King James are the best Bibles out there. They're the best. King James, if you got like a KJVER like I got, or you got a completely footnoted King James, or a New King James, best Bible in 2025. Because these other Bibles, now I'm going to be reading the CSB, even though there's some things in the CSB that took me off, because I don't like when you call the law of God instructions. I don't like when you call one God many gods, like it just did in Hosea. Okay, I don't like. There's things in the CSB I don't like, but there's things in the MEV. In the MEV, Textus Receptus, and but anyway, thank you for watching. See you soon more. God bless you.